Well, the sports editor is very pleased to have young, up-and-coming and dynamic swimmer, Matthew Satz. We've actually had a brief chat before, so this is the second time on the show, but there's been lots of news and lots of records being broken by this phenomenal swimmer who's only 18 years of age. Matthew, what a pleasure. So honored to be able to chat to you again, and I think you're doing everyone proud in South Africa. I'm sure you're doing your school proud, St. Charles College, as well as your family. So Matt, again, just congratulations and well done for being selected for the South African Olympic team. So have you pinched yourself yet?
I guess so. It only really hit in when I don't know, a couple like maybe weeks afterwards, after I did the time, realizing that it was actually like a good swim. But when I did like a bad swim, like a bad gala, I realized, oh, that was actually one of the best races that I've done, kind of thing.
Interesting, because when we first spoke a while ago, you mentioned that it obviously be one of your dreams to represent South Africa, go to the Olympic Games. But as you started getting better and breaking more and more records, did you actually think to yourself at one stage, hey, this could actually be a possibility? I could actually go to the Games.
No, I guess it was always in the back of my head because I've been told, I don't know, ever since I started St. Charles at grade 8, and the plan was to make the Olympics at like grade 11 for 2020. Like that was the plan that Wayne had my coach, and we told the school and everything, and they were all behind me. So it was always in the back of my head that it is possible, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Matt, also, is it a case where, yes, you've got those dreams and desires to represent South Africa, but in the same breath, you've also got the objective to do as well as you can in your races? Do you ever split the two and say, I'm just focusing on getting the best time I can here, regardless of what I want to achieve, and hopefully that comes along the way? Do you purposely focus on just getting the best time you can in your race?
I never really focus on times or to try and do a best time or anything. Every time I try to go for a time, I always end up not being fully there almost, or thinking about it too much, overthinking about it. So I always just go into the end, just try and do my best, kind of thing. Not thinking about what the time was or what's the future holding in that time.
But now, Matt, 100-meter butterfly, that's a proper stroke. And
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that's basically the stroke that got you into the Olympic, or qualifying for the Olympic Games, am I right?
Yes, no, it was the 200 IM. I qualified first, and then the 100 fly after the 200 IM.
So what was your time for the 100 fly then?
It was a 51.8 that I did.
51.8. Now that is a jolly good effort. And just tell us a bit about your training. Is that one of the strokes where you say, right, well, Coach Rodden says to you, we're focusing on this for a week now, 2 weeks? Or is your training sort of involved in every single aspect? Would you focus specifically on 100-meter butterfly?
Going into nationals, I was training with Chad, and so I was doing his programs and training with him for 3-4 weeks and everything for prep for nationals. So it was a lot of flower training, a lot of long distance flower, and then nationals didn't work out too well. I think I was more kind of overtrained for that. So when I came back, I was very specialized in the 200 IM, very specialized in nothing. And then after I got the 200 IM time in Cape Town, we had 3 weeks till the Durban Grand Prix, where I was going to try and qualify for the 100 fly. So then after that, after I qualified for the 200 IM, I was very specialized in 100 fly only almost, and then a little bit of IM also.
Sure. Now, I mean, so, just pretend that we sort of new to this whole thing, 200-meter individual medley. I mean, just how fit do you have to be, and why would you? What is sort of the driving factor where you think, actually, I want to give this a go? I mean, you have to be jolly fit, Matthew. Which I mean, I'm sure you are. But gee, it must be a challenge.
Fit for kind of anything in swimming related terms. Like you can't really miss a day, or the program's really thrown out. Like we have a 12-week program where every session you have to do a specific thing in that session, and it all leads up to the one day. That was all. So everything, like, it was a 12-week program to the day of racing, and every single day there was like double sessions, and so you can't really miss a day because each session was meant to do something. We were meant to push the fly or the turns or the backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. So all like the different strokes had to be all mixed together, and so each training session had a specific thing to do. So each session has to be fully concentrated on and dedicated on for that.
Sure. So yeah, it's a lot of dedication, and I think at your age to really understand that is phenomenal. You're a step ahead. But Matt, I mean, it's not always rosy. Things do get tough. But what keeps you going to help you stay focused on your dreams? Where do you get your energy from, so to say?
Yeah, it does get tough. I remember after nationals, I missed the time by 0.02. So I missed the Olympic time by 0.2 of a second, kind of thing. So it was kind of demotivating, but I guess lots of stuff. Everything can demotivate you. I don't know, anything. It can be, I don't know, friends or yeah, whatever, anything in the world. But it's just like, I think just the passion for it, kind of thing. We have to actually love to do it to go so forward in something.
Yeah.
And I just like to train harder than other people, I guess. So lucky for me, that's what I like to do.
Then, do you and your coach ever sit down and talk about the mental aspect of swimming and what's happening? Do you guys ever sit down and maybe you talk about one or two of your frustrations? Or is coach there just to teach you or coach you how to swim? Or do you talk a bit of the mental aspect of things?
Oh, yeah, no, the mental aspect is a massive thing. We regularly have chats, and maybe like I say like twice a week or something. We'll like proper sit down chats about the plans forward and everything. But I'm part of a EAD program, and they help out with sports psychologists, and it's all good on the mental side. But yeah, it's tough. I guess anyone can train hard. It depends how much motivation you have to how long you can train hard for, is the big part of it.
No, for sure, definitely. But Matt, I mean, I'm sure you're aware that as much as you've achieved at this young age, there's still more to gain and achieve. But when you hear sort of things along the lines like young Matthew States is being compared to certain swimmers, how does that make you feel, and how do you handle that? Sorry.
Yeah, I like it. Doesn't really faze me in a negative or positive way, I guess. It's all articles and all that somebody else has written that doesn't really know the path we're taking or that kind of thing. And anyone that like tells you what the future is going to be is not really someone, I don't know, nobody can tell the future. So I'm just trying to go day by day kind of thing.
Right. Day by day, Matthew. But I mean, we often talk about these athletes and how they've got to be so careful of what they do, from what they eat to how many hours of sleep they get. Is that something that you have to strictly follow now as well?
Yes, yeah. I've been doing it for a while though. It's like you always have to give that 110%. So you go to training and you give 100% of training every day, twice a day or something. But then the extra 10% is when you come home and then you have to eat a certain amount of calories and eat a certain amount of food and drink a certain amount of water, and you can't do anything other exercise that will exhaust you out of the pool. So all of that kind of thing all adds up to that extra 10%, I guess. So to give that extra 10% is almost harder than giving the 100% fully, if you get me.
No, I definitely do. But you touched on training there. And obviously, I would assume you're back in Pietermaritzburg for a while. Is there going to be a set moment where you sort of meet up with the swimming squad and you guys train together? What's the sort of plan behind that?
Oh, for Olympics or just in general training?
For the Olympics.
Because I think all the COVID thing, I went to Pretoria for 2.5 weeks. So to do some altitude training and everything. And I came back now, I'm just swimming with my squad, but because of the whole Corona thing, and I don't think the Swim SA has really organized it properly because of the almost money wasn't there because of it, all of it. So there's just a 2-day quarantine period before we go. So we have a test, like a testing period, I guess, for Corona. And then we leave about a week before we actually race. And we train for a week and a bit in Tokyo, and then we race Tokyo, I guess.
Right. So Matt, when are you actually meant to be leaving and flying to Tokyo?
I think it's on the 17th of July.
Right. And you've got to be a bit excited. And I know you've done lots of traveling, but to a destination like this, a platform like this, are you going to sort of feel, well, I can't let anyone down, but in the same breath, I know that you will probably just put your head in, get stuck in, and give it your best effort. And no matter, I think, where you come, you'll still be happy with the fact that you've been able to represent South Africa. Does that make any sense? What I'm trying to say?
Oh yes, yes. Everything. I don't know. I had a goal to. I don't know. Ever since I was, starting at St. Charles, or even before that, like when I was 10 or something, always goal to make the Olympics, and I made it now. So everything that I do now, I guess, is just the bonus.
And let's just look past the Olympic Games. But I know you said you also take it one day at a time, and you actually at the moment in being, which is totally fair. But let's look a bit beyond the Olympics. What would sort of be the next sort of highlight for you?
I guess the Commonwealth Games would be a big one. If the if it carries on in this I don't know, time cutting that I'm going at, it'll be quite a cool one to see what I can do there. Maybe I don't know, try for the medals and what color I get, or like that kind of thing. So Commonwealth's a big one. I got World Short Course in December also. I'm in Abu Dhabi, so I've already qualified for that. So it's looking good into there also. Yeah, and then also there's the Junior Worlds. So that's also 18 and under. So that would be, my rankings are pretty good there. So it would be good to race international people also.
Yeah. But then Matthew, I know that we, in a previous show that we discussed your schoolwork and things like that, but how do you balance it? I mean, like you said, you've just been in Pretoria for 2.5 weeks. It's coming quite an important time now for matrics. How's it going? How do you handle all of that? And with all due respect, it is the Cambridge system, so it's not a walk in the park per se, but how are you handling everything?
Yeah, definitely. School's really come to like even it hasn't been first, second, like maybe even third for me now of the schooling. Like but luckily, because it is Cambridge, the university that I signed with is going to take my grade 10 marks.
Right.
So school's not really a priority or anything, but St. Charles has helped a lot with I don't know, helping me catch up classes and all of that kind of thing. But school hasn't really been a worry in my life for the year that I've been preparing for Tokyo.
Yeah. And Matthew, if I'm not mistaken, and from what I can understand, it'll probably be a good move for you to study overseas based on the swimming programs, especially in the USA. Is there any light you can shed on that?
Okay, so we're just coming up. So I got put in the ISL, the International Swimming League draft. It's a professional swimming league kind of thing. But the colleges, you have to be non-professional to go. So it's coming up in the end of June. They have to pull out of the swimming league or go to college. So that's the decision that I have to make during the month to either go professional or go and study overseas.
Now, Matthew, what are you going to do? No, I'm joking. No pressure. You've obviously got time to think about it. But wow, that's an interesting thing to know. So because you've done so well, you actually, am I right in simple terms, because you've done so well, you actually need to go to, you can't attend that program that they had set for you in America.
Yes, yeah. So
Wow.
because of the NCAA rules in
Wow.
America, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go if I start accepting money.
Sure. So you basically aiming to make swimming a career from now, basically from.
Yes, yeah. From June, if I choose to go the ISL swim, will then be my career for the next couple of years.
Oh, that's exciting, Matthew. That's brilliant. Well done. Well done. There we go. See, hard work
Thanks.
pays off. No, that's excellent. It's excellent. But there's also a rumor that you might be, if swimming doesn't quite work out, you could be joining EFC.
Oh, yeah. We got invited to the EFC. I think it was last weekend or something, but it was awesome to see. Sure. I think I get pretty nervous like going into a swim race. I thought that was quite a big thing. Meanwhile, it's probably the smallest thing that anybody could ever do when you compare it to the EFC kind of thing. Sure. It was crazy how those guys, all the stare downs and everything. Oh, it was awesome to witness.
Yeah, talk about being in a determined mindset with EFC, but we'll let them do that.
Oh,
you
yes,
look after yourself. We don't need any broken bones or anything from at the moment. So yeah, no, excellent, Matt. But talking about nerves, and I guess that's something that has to be. You almost have to feel nervous all the time because it shows that there's something means something to you. If you know what I'm trying to say. If that nervousness goes away, maybe that drive is not always there. What do you think? Do you think nerves are actually part of your everyday race?
Yeah, I think nerves definitely play a part. For nationals, the big Olympic trials, and it was Olympic trials. That Olympic trials word. I think I was pretty nervous then, and the nerves played a part, and I didn't make it. I blame it on the nerves, kind of thing. But obviously, you can't tell. But you can't tell for sure. But there's other factors that also play. But I almost like to race. I don't really like nerves when racing. I think you almost have to act like you don't care what happens in the race. You can't. I think the nerves play too big of a part on the mind to exhaust you and the mind too much. So it plays a little part of you physically also. But obviously you experience so much nerves already. You don't need any extra. Like just saying, just by stepping on the block, you already got enough nerves.
Yeah.
To help you in the race. So you don't need any extra nerves to, I don't know, play on your performance.
No, definitely. Well, Matthew, I think it's exciting times for you. I'm sure you're eager to get to Tokyo now, but everything has to happen at the right time. But yeah, I mean, wishing you well. It's been really good to catch up with you again. And I know we're just sort of talking about the Olympic Games, but I think that based on how you've been achieving, we're going to see much more of you in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's really good to see such a youngster doing so well. It's almost like you've been doing this for a couple of years already. It's just nothing new to you. So,
thank you so much, sir.
Absolute pleasure, Matthew. But thank you for your time. Nice to have a chat.
Yes, yeah, you too. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the call.
No, just about the build up for the Olympics. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay,
bye-bye.